This morning, a police officer in Mexico is dead after a shootout with a convicted murderer from LA County. Gunfire erupted shortly after law enforcement found 34-year-old César Hernández in Tijuana. He escaped from a prison in Kern County last year while serving 80 years to life for a 2019 murder. As agents moved in to arrest him, they say he shot and killed a 33-year-old Mexican police commander. Hernández then escaped from that scene and still remains on the run this morning.
There's a storm brewing in the heart of California, one that started with a man in chains and ended with gunfire in a foreign land. It's been 1 week since a small city of Delano was shaken to its core. A killer, convicted and caged, somehow vanished in broad daylight. No sirens, no chaos, just silence, and footsteps vanishing into the wind. Citizens locked their doors, schools closed. A parade meant to bring joy was postponed indefinitely. And the question that no one can shake, how did this happen? Or maybe more importantly, who helped make it happen? December 2nd, morning mist still clung to the sidewalks outside the Kern County courthouse. A transfer van pulled up. Inside it, César Moisés Hernández, serving 80 years to life for murder. But what happened next would defy logic and ignite fear. Video would later surface. Not grainy surveillance, clear footage, chilling in its simplicity. Hernández running, no shackles, no cuffs, just a glance back, a quick moment of hesitation as an officer raises his weapon but doesn't fire. Then he's gone, across an open field, past City Hall, through an alley towards 10th Street. After that, the trail goes dark. An officer outpaced, outmaneuvered, and the killer free.
All right, it has now been 1 week since the city of Delano was turned upside down after a killer broke free from corrections officers in a daring escape that caught the nation's attention. 17's Rob Hagan has more on this hunt for César Hernández.
You've seen the video. You know the story. Now we are retracing the steps of convicted killer César Hernández, who could be in your neighborhood.
You're not sleeping well at night right now. It's scary.
34-year-old Hernández was serving a sentence of 80 years to life for first-degree murder in 2019 out of LA County. He was set to appear in court the morning of December 2nd after pleading no contest to manufacturing a weapon and possessing drugs in prison. Video captured the daring escape, showing Hernández running across an empty field without shackles or handcuffs, with the officer far behind. Hernández looks back, the officer raises his weapon, but does not fire. Hernández then fled down Kensington Street across the field in front of City Hall and then south through the alley towards 10th Street. After that, no one knows.
It had to be an inside job. I did 12 years in prison, and I was with CDCR, and for him to not have shackles or handcuffs on, something was going on.
New information on the Ralph Bailey show quotes sources saying Hernández used a self-made key to break free from the chains and punched a guard before running through an open gate in the transfer parking lot of the courthouse. Delano schools were put on lockdown Monday and Tuesday. Classes were canceled Wednesday and Thursday, and the Christmas parade was postponed.
It's not just us. The children are scared.
The California Department of Corrections issued a statement Thursday stating Hernández most likely fled Delano. School resumed Friday. We still don't know how Hernández escaped, but we do know this killer is still on the run. He's 5 feet 5 inches tall and weighs 160 pounds. Hernández has ties to Kern, Los Angeles, and Riverside County. A cash reward is available for information leading to his arrest. If you have any information on his whereabouts, call or text the U.S. Marshals at 979-1187 or call 911.
In the aftermath, the city buzzed with theories. An inside job, some said. He wasn't shackled, others whispered. Not possible without help. Annie Silva, who knows the system from the inside, was the first to say it out loud. 12 years in CDCR, she said. That man didn't walk out alone. And then, new whispers. A self-made key, a punch guard, an open gate left open just long enough. The corrections department issued a sterile statement. Schools cautiously reopened, but fear remained, and so did silence, because silence can mean conspiracy. Delano wasn't just looking for a fugitive. It was chasing a ghost. César Hernández wasn't just a prisoner. He was a man with connections. Kern, Riverside, Los Angeles, and then he was gone, vanished into the sprawl of California or beyond. A reward was offered, but no one came forward. Not for money, not for justice, not even out of fear. Because some men disappear into the cracks and others are swallowed by the shadows that help them run. 4 months later, across the border, Tijuana, Mexico, a dusty street, a quiet neighborhood, until the silence shattered. Gunfire, chaos, a task force sent to arrest a foreign fugitive, over 50 officers and one target. César Hernández had been found, but he wasn't going quietly. He barricaded himself inside. He opened fire, and in the crossfire, a life was taken. Officer Abigail Esparza Reyes, 33 years old, a mother, a sister, a protector of her community. And Hernández, when the smoke cleared, he was gone again.
A murderer from Los Angeles now wanted in connection with the killing of a Mexican police officer in Tijuana. He has now escaped law enforcement in 2 countries and remains on the run.
NBC 7's Shelby Bremer has been digging into this all day long. She joins us now from San Ysidro with the latest. Shelby?
Yeah, hi, Catherine and Michelle. This is now absolutely an international manhunt. The death of this Mexican police officer happened months after César Hernández was captured on video fleeing police. Now it appears he's done it again.
This was the scene from above in Tijuana Wednesday as more than 50 law enforcement officers from Mexico and the U.S. attempted to arrest a fugitive who had already escaped once. César Hernández was convicted of first-degree murder in 2019 in LA County. In December, he was appearing in Kern County when he made a run for it. Captured on video sprinting across a field, no shackles or handcuffs, as an officer follows, lifting his weapon, but no shots fired. Hernández ultimately made his escape with no public word on his whereabouts until Wednesday. U.S. and Mexican law enforcement attempted to arrest Hernández in Tijuana's Barcelona neighborhood. Shots fired in the chaos, and Mexican police officer Abigail Esparza Reyes was killed, and Hernández escaped once again.
It was really a surprise for the community to find out that these shooting took place in a middle-class neighborhood. That's a reality.
Roberto Quijano is the president of the Citizens Council for Security in Baja California. He says this was shocking for several reasons, one of which is that fugitives don't often linger near the border.
They don't commonly stay within this area of the country because there's a lot of communication and relationship between the U.S. and Mexican law enforcement agents.
The U.S. Marshals Service confirmed they were on the scene but not involved in the shooting, saying in a statement in part, quote, "Those who commit violence against law enforcement officers will be held accountable." Quijano says Hernández donned a trash collector's uniform to evade capture.
He camouflaged himself as he has been doing some maintenance in this community, so the police didn't notice that, and that's how he ran away.
And Quijano insists crime is down in Tijuana, and this was an aberration on both sides of the border.
I think he's a smart individual. I mean, I think running from two situations like this is not really that easy.
Now, of course, Hernández is still not in custody. Both the U.S. Marshals and the Mexican authorities say they'll collaborate as this investigation continues.
How does a convicted killer escape custody twice? Once from a courthouse in California, and again from a shootout involving dozens of officers. Who opened that gate? Who stayed silent when the chains were unlocked? And why was no one held responsible? Some believe Hernández had help. Others believe he planned this for years. But the truth is buried beneath red tape, closed doors, and fear.
On December 2nd, 2024, César Hernández was set to appear at the Kern County Superior Courthouse in Delano for a hearing, but he managed to escape from the van he was being transported in. I'm Ruby Rivera, your neighborhood reporter, and here's what we know. Hernández managed to escape from Delano and fled south 283 miles into the Mexican border, where he then fled into Tijuana, where on Wednesday he was involved in a deadly shootout and managed to escape authorities again. On April 9th, Mexican news outlets were able to confirm the shootout César Hernández was involved in led to the killing of Officer Abigail Esparza Reyes. Hernández was convicted on a first-degree murder charge in Los Angeles back in 2019. Officer Reyes was part of a fugitive task force responsible for tracking down escaped fugitives from the U.S. who have crossed the border to flee. We now know it was the U.S. Marshal Service that requested help from Mexican authorities to apprehend Hernández. The U.S. Marshal Service tells 23 ABC while they were not involved in the shooting, they were on site where medical personnel administered aid to Commander Reyes, but ultimately succumbed to her injuries. Receiving video from the news outlet Punto Norte, we now have a general idea of what happened after the shootout. CCTV footage shows Hernández running down a street without a shirt and getting into a covered vehicle. He later comes out wearing some sort of uniform. More CCTV footage shows Hernández casually walking away from the scene. It's still unclear as to how Hernández managed to escape yet again. However, speaking with Montserrat Peraza, the reporter on site for Punto Norte, she describes her idea.
Cuando le dispara a ella en el cuello, pues están dando este intercambio de disparos.
When he shot the officer in the neck and bullets were going everywhere, that's when other officers started to focus their attention on her to take her to the hospital. I think that's when he decided to flee. The governor of Baja California State, Marina de Pilar, released a statement regarding the death of Officer Reyes, reading in part, quote, "I deeply regret the death of the agent of the State Citizen Security Force, Abigail Esparza Reyes, at the time of participating in an operation to comply with an arrest warrant that is currently being carried out. Our wishes for prompt resignation are with you. Abigail's life will be honored and her death will not go unpunished."
The search for Hernández continues. The U.S. Marshal Service says they'll continue to work with their Mexican counterparts to catch the man who has now successfully eluded authorities twice.
As of today, César Moisés Hernández is still out there. Some say he's deep in Mexico. Others think he never left the States. But wherever he is, he's not running alone. And if a man can escape justice twice, what else is he capable of? Lock your doors, watch your streets, because sometimes the story doesn't end with a manhunt. Sometimes it begins with one. All right, y'all, man, that's been a crazy story of César Hernández, man. This dude is, if this was GTA, he'd have 817 stars right now. Hey, get in that comment section, man. Let me know what y'all think. Will we capture César Hernández before we get GTA 6? Drop that comment, man. But until then, you already know what it is. Drillers and trappers, we out here trapping and drilling 247. Don't go nowhere. Watch that next video. Gang!